International Monetary Fund makes a strong case for African countries lacking access to the international market to improve on fiscals going forward.
Can be pressures for, spending, as well as it makes it more difficult sometimes for governments to continue with reforms. And our message is to be vigilant and, hold the line.
Government to present new proposals to invite Indian investors into Ghana's pharmaceuticals and information technology sectors.
Areas that Ghana has done a lot, and we think we need support. And we believe that when we put that on the table, there may be a very good conclusions that will help both countries.
These and many more coming your way with me, Emma Davis. Now to the details. The International Monetary Fund is making a strong case for African countries lacking access to the international market to improve their fiscals going forward. The IMF, in its regional economic outlook for sub-Saharan Africa, admits some African countries are grappling with financing challenges and impending debt repayments. Meanwhile, Deputy Director of the fund, Catherine Patillo, said African countries need to work on public finances without undermining development. James Ishen has the rest of the story.
The IMF, in its regional economic outlook for sub-Saharan Africa, projects a 3.8% rise in growth. Meanwhile, when it comes to the case of the international capital markets, the IMF is asking government to diversify the economy and also implement some structural reforms.
Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Kenya have been able to access capital markets again after this 2-year hiatus of frontier markets being shut out. So it's a positive sign, a sign that market sentiment is improving for African sovereigns. We also highlight it's pricey, and so these yields are much higher than they were pre-pandemic. So when can other countries think about the timing for this re-entry? It's going to depend also very much on the domestic conditions as well as the external conditions. And there's a lot of still uncertainty in global financial markets with global interest rates. We're seeing that we had thought they were going to be higher for longer, but we're getting even more reinforcement of that, for example, recently from the US.
When it comes to election spending, the IMF is asking government to keep to its promise of improving on its public finances and cut down on expenditure.
It is true that during election years, in sub-Saharan Africa, but also in other places in the world, there can be pressures for, spending, as well as it makes it more difficult sometimes for governments to continue with reforms. And our message is to be vigilant and, hold the line. And in Ghana, in particular, while there has been a history of fiscal slippages in election years. We're heartened by two things. First, performance on the Ghana's program has generally been strong, including on the fiscal side. And second, the government, including the minister, has repeatedly, including in recent weeks, reaffirmed commitment to the program and commitment to keeping the program on track.
On Ghana's debt restructuring, the IMF is saying Ghana is making some good progress in that regard, but expects more from the country. Now, the IMF is expecting most African countries to be prudent when it comes to expenditure. For Joy Business, James Ishen.
The National Petroleum Authority has set a new price floor that oil marketing companies should sell petroleum products from May 1 to May 15, 2024. This was captured in a circular to the oil marketing companies and bulk oil distribution companies for the first pricing window from May 1, 2024. There is more in the following Business Desk report.
The circular to the oil marketing companies and other industry players showed that litre of petrol should not be below 13 cedis, 63 pesos by any of the players in the industry. This represents some marginal increase over the 13 cedis, 2 pesos that the National Petroleum Authority when it started enforcing the price floor from April 16, 2024 this year. Diesel has been kept unchanged based on the price that the National Petroleum Authority are set for this product. The circular revealed that a litre of diesel will be sold at 13 cedis, 7 pesos. This was the same price the NPA quoted for diesel from April 2024. A kilogram of liquefied petroleum gas should also not be sold less than 10 cedis, 55 pesos. This represents an increase from the 10 cedis, 52 pesos quoted from April 16, 2024, when the National Petroleum Authority started enforcing this price floor policy. The circular reminded all the various players, including the oil marketing companies, to strictly comply with these new pricing guidelines for the industry. The price floor announcement covers the second pricing window for petroleum products, which runs from April 16 to April 30, 2024. According to some industry analysts, the new pricing floor for this window could indicate that the price of petrol could be going up slightly from May 1 to May 15, 2024. However, diesel may witness some marginal increase for this pricing window, which starts from May 1 to May 15, 2024. According to the National Petroleum Authority, it was forced to implement this program because of what it describes as serious price undercutting in the industry. However, some industry players are still not comfortable with this program. The Chamber of Bulk Oil Importers, for instance, have raised concerns about the forex rates used in setting the price floor. They rather want the National Petroleum Authority to use the Bloomberg rate when it comes to forex components in setting the prices rather than the Bank of Ghana rate.
So another headline story, as Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Michael Otribefui, has indicated that Ghana will table a new proposal on industrial development to Indian investors to consider in growing the country's manufacturing sector. This is part of moves by government to target key sectors like pharmaceuticals and information technology for economic growth. Speaking to journalists at the opening of the Indian-Ghana Joint Trade Committee meeting in Accra, the Deputy Minister underscores the potential of Ghana in industrial growth and the need for the Indian businesses to leverage in expanding their business in Ghana. Here's more.
India ranks among the foremost investors in Ghana with significant investment activities. In 2023 alone, India emerged as the third largest investor with a foreign direct investment value of approximately $78 million. The Indian-Ghana Joint Trade Committee has been one of the business partnership groups supporting trade between the two nations. Speaking after the opening of the fourth session in Accra, Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Michael Otribefui, told journalists that Ghana will seek industrial support from India in areas such as agribusiness, pharmaceuticals, ICT, and others.
On the table, for India to look at, where they can support Ghana to be able to build a framework of a very good industrial sector for the economy. Because we want to also now focus on what we call the Enable Youth Concept and the Common User Facility. These are areas that Ghana has done a lot, and we think we need to support. And we believe that when we put that on the table, there may be a very good conclusions that will help both countries.
The co-chair of the Joint Trade Committee, Amadeb Singh Bhatia, highlighted the importance of such a meeting and assured support for the country's industrial growth.
What I meant was that the trade now is no longer in silos. World is a connected place where one part is made in one place, another part is made in another place. So there are companies sourced from various places. So some of the production can be here, some of the production can be in India. So if partnerships are there, obviously investment will also flow. So that's what, if Indian companies are investing in India, there's a natural corollary, some investment will also go to Ghanaian. So we expect that investment flow will be there both sides, and this will help both the economies and the people of the countries.
Okay. The Joint Trade Committee has played a pivotal role in improving trade ties between Ghana and India.
Welcome. Thanks for staying. A look at the rest of our stories. International tourism arrivals reached more than 1 million last year. The development represents a 25% jump over what was recorded in 2022. This was contained in the Tourism Statistics Report for 2023. There's more in the following Business Desk report.
In 2022, Ghana international arrivals stood at 914,000. However, as at the end of 2023, this increased marginally to more than 1 million visits. According to the Ghana Tourism Statistics, Ghana received most of its visitors from the United States of America. This was followed by Nigeria with 82,000 arrivals and the United Kingdom with more than 51,000 arrivals. Domestic tourism also went up marginally to hit 1.4 million, representing almost 49% more than what was recorded in 2022. The Ghana Tourism Report also noted that 5-star hotels recorded a hotel occupancy rate of 71% on the average, while 50% was recorded for 4-star hotels and 55% for 3-star hotels. Additionally, the number of licensed facilities have gone up by almost 8%.
Renowned Ghanaian pilot Captain Solomon Quaino is calling on the government to support private businesses in the aviation industry by providing some tax exemptions to cushion them. According to him, the aviation industry in Ghana could expand further with the right policies and aid. He was speaking at the launch of his book titled Flutter Until You Fly.
Until You Fly, a memoir written by the only Ghanaian to have flown the biggest passenger plane in the world, seeks to inspire the youth to persevere in order to achieve their goals. The book also serves as an avenue to generate financial resources to aid needy but brilliant students in the aviation and other industries through the Solomon Quaino Foundation. According to the author, Captain Solomon Quaino, Ghana needs to capitalize on the many opportunities present to further develop the aviation industry in the country.
To have a look at places like UK, Europe, America, we hear of British Airways and we all assume it's for the British government. We hear of Lufthansa and we assume it's for the German government. We hear of American Airlines and we assume it's for the American government. All these entities are privatized entities. So for us to thrive in aviation, I think government should back the private sector and empower them, give them kind policies. You go to places like UAE, they have tax benefits for the airlines. And we fly to Ghana, and some of the taxes we pay are very high. So ticket prices are very high, and then it affects the carriers, how much they could charge, and sometimes are not very competitive. So what I would say is that the government should back the private sector. We need strong private individuals or companies that will dare to venture into the aviation sector.
He also added that the book is aimed at empowering young people who are facing many hurdles to persevere in order to become successful.
There are certain youth as well. They are brilliant, but because of their condition, it affects their grades. We have to unearth all these people. The other day we went to Presbyterian College of Education, and we gave scholarship to 10 students who were at the verge of dropping out of their education because they couldn't pay their fees. They are my target. It's for every youth, not just Ghana, Africa, the world. Any youth who is dreaming to achieve, we will start from home because charity begins at home. Who is dreaming to achieve something, we will inspire them and we will impact them.
The book, Flutter Until You Fly, gives an insight into renowned pilot Captain Kwenu's experience to becoming an international aviator and a pilot.
Telecoms giant MTN ended the first quarter of this year with a significant increase in taxes paid to the state. This was captured in the company's financial performance report from January to March this year. George Rafi has the rest of the story.
MTN in the first 3 months of last year paid 1.1 billion cedis in taxes to the state. This came in the form of direct and indirect taxes. The amount increased to 1.7 billion Ghana cedis after it posted 1.6 billion cedis in profit before tax for this year. Telecoms giant also invested more than 1 billion cedis when it came to capital expenditure for that period. The first quarter of 2024 can be described as an interesting year for MTN based on the strong growth recorded in most areas of its operations. The active mobile money and even active subscribers all saw some significant increase in the first quarter of this year compared to the same period in 2023. However, despite these good numbers, MTN was worried about the economic outlook and how that could impact on its fortunes going forward for this year. According to the telecoms giant, these challenges are influenced by the high inflation rate, currency volatility, foreign exchange scarcity. This, MTN believes, could potentially affect the economic growth of the country and living cost for Ghanaians, which could go a long way to impact badly on its operations.
That's how we part company tonight on Business Live. I am Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com and be updated. Have a good evening.